Hey you guys, welcome back to Angel and Angela. And on this topic, as you guys can see, I want to talk about how the narcissist is thankful for the empath. The narcissist is thankful for the empath. And, happy Thanksgiving. I'm not really someone who celebrates Thanksgiving, even though I'm actually engaging in some wine tonight because I am cooking. And it's not for myself, it's more for obligation. But I did want to come on here and talk about how the narcissist is thankful for the empath because, see, they ruined holidays for a lot of people. They ruin holidays when they, scapegoat you and make you the black sheep of the family. And you're experiencing having to be alone, at least in the beginning, for those of you, who are spending Thanksgiving holidays alone, and you're not new to this. A lot of us that have been dealing with this for a long time, we've been dealing with this longer, right? When we were in these long relationships for years where a narcissist was ruining moments for us to the point where eventually we lost interest in all the things that were superficial of the world. And in a way, you realize a lot of the superficial things that are going on with people and favoritism and families and relationships, family, work, and things like that. But these people will celebrate, they'll celebrate achieving success, even if it's the fact that they had to step on others, right? It's a celebration. It's a celebration of unity, even though they know that certain people aren't there, and they gathered together and they're competing against one another a lot of times secretly. And the narcissist will celebrate and thank God, right? Because in their world, they didn't do anything wrong. In their world, they bash you and they boast about how far they came. And they'll call you the narcissist. They'll act like you did something to them, even though you endured a lot of abuse, because they brought you into a cycle that they had already been living for a long time. And now they dump that energy on you and they become a new person, right? So now they bash you. They're thankful for how far they've came. They'll say all the bad things they used to do, and they're just relieved that they're not where they used to be. They feel like, I always knew I would make it here. I always knew this is what I wanted. I was willing to do everything I wanted to get this. I had a person that was in love with me and I didn't care. And they boast about it. They boast about you because they're thankful for you. You saved them. They won't give you that credit. They'll give themselves credit. They'll say they did it on their own. Because all of us have dreams. All of us feel like we can achieve something, but there's obstacles. There's a war going on in our minds, and no one can see it but ourselves. So the narcissist feels like they won the war. So a lot of times, you're watching them live the life that you once lived, and then you also realize you didn't appreciate that life that you had because you always thought it was going to be there. You thought certain people would always be there, and you get to experience what the narcissist feels like. You swap lives with them, spirits with them. You get to see you're living different lives, and you're accepting it because you're just glad you got to live and you made it out. So you're thankful that you got to make it out, even though you went through a lot of suffering, right? You also know you wouldn't be able to be this strong if you hadn't went through certain obstacles. So the same people that you love are the same people that betrayed you And, you know, you see yourself in these people, and you realize that the reason they wouldn't leave you alone, commercial, every time, it never skips a beat. We'll be chilling. Look, I'm having my wine, you guys. Save on all regular price purchases with coupon. Yep. Oh. So I had the opportunity to skip, and I didn't skip. Okay, here we go. Oh, and excuse my editing, you guys. You know, I'm worn out with editing and doing all the extras. So excuse me, excuse moi. Cheers. So, you have to think about it, you know, when you're alone and you realize how, you know, you're relieved, right? A lot of people will tell you, oh, that they're happy being alone. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, for years, it's like you're happy to be alone, stress-free, because so many mind games were played, and really you feel like these people owe you for your time, because even when they're gone, you still have to heal, and you know you have to live in the present, but you're even stuck living in the past, but you're just thankful you're alive, you know. But eventually the loneliness will kick in, and when it kicks in hard, and you realize that you're in a war in your mind by yourself and no one else, and because you're in a war, you know, with yourself and not anyone else. You're not going to war for any of the narcissist people that you went so hard for. You're not going hard for nobody, right? So you're thankful, but now you're in a war with yourself, and you replay things, you know, and you try to keep yourself distracted, but you realize that having people around support, some people are not even grateful. They leave the narcissist relationship and they're not even grateful that they have a support system or someone that they can talk to, because some of us, you know, we go through a whole different type of hell, and to the point where we force ourselves to be strong, to the point where that's all we know, and we just don't use our emotions anymore. And, you know, in moments like holidays and things like that, you'll be triggered because you'll think about moments you should have appreciated, and you realize the narcissist sacrificed you to live their dreams. But then you love these people so much that you wish nothing but good and happiness to them, because you also understand that they couldn't get out, but they were thankful for you, because through you, through your sacrifice, they were able to achieve a success or things that they were incapable of doing for so long, because you realize the importance of having someone who supports your dreams. So when you're achieving your dreams by yourself, you feel like no one is, it's not that you want to be seen, but you start to feel like, is it worth it? Am I doing the right thing? You start second guessing yourself. You feel alone, like no one thinks like you, right? So you realize how important it is when you can connect to someone and talk to someone, and how it could make you feel so much better. It could bring you a little bit more peace. That conversation could bring peace to you, right? So you realize you don't got that. And when you had that, it seemed like certain people just, it was obligation. They're your parents. They're supposed to do things like that, right? You realize, hey, if no one supports me, if you're not on my team, I'm not messing with you, right? If you're not on my level, I'm not messing with you, right? So it just gets to this point where you realize the importance of how someone supporting you can make a big difference in your life. It could give you excitement. It could give you make you feel like, you know, it's competition, but it's healthy competition, because you're also wishing the best for them. You know how important it is to wish the best for them. You're not competing with nobody. It's competition, but you're really, you just find people that think like you and who support you, right? But you realize that that's not something easy to achieve, to get. This is why the narcissist kept coming back. This is why when relationships didn't go right, they came back. You know, this is why your family betrays you, because they see something in you. Even though they're not getting nothing from you, they might see something from you, something about you that makes them feel like, you know, why you? Who are you? And the love can turn to hate real quickly. So, you know, Thanksgiving, it reminds me of me and my family telling me, my aunt telling me, you know, you're not even, you know, I was feeling like something after dealing with the narcissist abuse. I felt like, you know, I felt the belittling of others, the lack of compassion, even though they went through the same things, or they were going through the same things. I saw how people only cared about themselves, and how if it wasn't about them, they'll make up lies about you. This aunt made up lies about me. She was going through cancer and told people that I hit her just because I called her out on her basically hating on me. I'm telling her, you know, positive things, and she's trying to switch up my plans and offering advice that's not beneficial for me. You're trying to make me lower myself, and because I'm not doing or lowering myself for you, you're getting defensive. And now that I'm telling you, you're becoming defensive, and that's not normal. You lash out, make up lies, and tell people I hit you when I didn't even touch you. And when everyone turns on me, you sit there and stare at me, and you tell me you're not part of the family anymore. And everyone's on your side, and I'm just confused. And prior to that, I had this picture. It was like an engraved stone, and I really wish it hadn't broke, but it broke. Right prior to that, it had broke, and it was a picture of Jesus and his disciples having the Last Supper. So that's why I'm making this video, Thanksgiving Last Supper. You know, so I knew if you sacrifice me, you guys are sacrificing yourselves, because it's all gonna break down. When you attack someone in your family, when you get together on holidays and you act like, oh, nothing's wrong, but you know people are missing, and you know what you've been doing all year long, and here you are, you know, stuffing your mouth with smashed potatoes and ham and turkey, and you're thankful. The narcissist is thankful. They're like, I'm thankful I came this far. I got what I wanted. I don't have to deal with people I don't like around me. It was itching them. You know, the hairs on their hands stood up every time they saw you, right? They had to put the focus on them. They were going through their own divorce, their own, you know, being ill, sickness, being the victim, right? And as an empath, you connect to other people, and you have empathy for them, right? I had all the empathy for this person, but the arrogance of their situation being more important than mine, I realized, wow, people really think about themselves, and they say they're empaths, right? And you made up a big lie, just, you know. So I realized, you know, they needed to sacrifice you to bring the attention on themselves, and they're thankful. They're thankful for you not being around. They're thankful, for getting what they wanted in the end, right? And you as an empath, a lot of times you don't understand it in the moment because you're filled with grief and despair and anger. But you realize why it had to happen as well. You realize that certain people weren't for you, that the seasons changed, that you grew older, and certain people look at you differently now. They were waiting. It almost feels to you like they were waiting for you to be able to now attack you, like you felt it even as a kid, but they knew, hey, kids are off limits, so they waited to prey on you. But they're thankful. They're thankful for making it far. And you realize every time they came to you for advice, every time they listened to your problems, they got fuel, they got energy from it, because they were comparing it to their lives, right? They were comparing it to their lives. They were using you to heal from their mistakes. They were examining you, studying you, and seeing themselves in you even. Some of these people had been misused, and when they got with you and they were in a position of control and power, they were like that boss at work feeling invincible, but when they go home, it's a different story. So they had a power trip, right? They were on the other side, and it was a high to them, and they realized it was a high to them, and they realized why they couldn't stop, and they realized what it's like, and they didn't care how you felt, because they were on the other side of the mirror going through the same things. And you realize, well, how could these people say they're victims and we should feel sorry for them, but they made me suffer too, right? But other people don't view them like that because they didn't do it to them. They don't view them that way. So they came back over and over and over again because they were thankful they had someone like you around to uplift them. Without you, they wouldn't be where they're at. They'll sit there and say, oh, I broke up with my ex. I broke up with her. She didn't break up with me. Oh, she loved me. I didn't really love her like that. They'll boast about these things. They'll boast about their happiness. But really, they're thankful for you. The more they say they hate you, the more they slander you. They were thankful for you. They got closer to their children. They got closer to people around them. They used you as a tool to better themselves. This is what the Last Supper consists of. And this is why when that Last Supper painting fell on the floor, I was kind of shocked, because I was like, it's been on that wall for years now. It just falls out of nowhere. So I gave it as a gift to my grandmother, because I knew the family wouldn't be the same anymore when they did what they did to me. I knew holidays, things. I knew what was going to happen. Like, I was years ahead of them, even though they thought they knew more, right? Because they're older, wiser. But certain things, they forget where they come from. They forget who they are. They forget to appreciate things. They forget. So I already saw it coming. I gave her the Last Supper statue at that time. After my statue fell, and I looked at it as a sign, and I never looked back. Never looked back. And things haven't been the same since. And people from my past, even a cousin showed up at my house. The son of the aunt that plotted on me, and he questioned me about, like, what's up with his mom, what's up, what'd she do to you? even though me and him were close our whole lives, and when everyone turned on me, he even turned on me too. And I knew he was going to be the next person on the roster too, because some way, somehow we connected for a reason. And now you're able to tell my story, and you were being used, and you were expecting me to have hate in my heart, and I had the opposite. And while he was in rage, and he even raged at me after a while, he took out anger on me because I talked about forgiveness, and like the demon came out of him, and his eyes got black, and he's like, how are you gonna tell me to forgive them after everything they done to me? And I'm telling him because I've been alone for a long time, and I realized certain shit you just gotta let go. It should get worse. It's not gonna get better. Strangers aren't gonna treat you better. You know what I'm saying? You gotta fight them demons together as a family. So I already knew, and I'm trying to give him game, but he's mad. He thinks he knows more than me, and I'm like, oh, I already know how this is gonna go. So I'm handling it with love. And I knew I'm not going to talk to you no more after this, because I don't even like the way you got at me, raging at me. But I'm gonna give you some information, and just like you came and seeking for answers years later on, you're going to realize why I said what I said. So I realized Jesus saw it coming. So Jesus knew what was going to happen. Because all it takes is one person to break you down in your family for them to hurt themselves. The narcissist hurts themselves. The narcissistic people in your life, they hurt themselves trying to hurt you. When you're not just the character in their movie, right? But that's how they want to view you. But in the end, they're gonna realize that the story and the characters were more important than what they thought, because that's what's going to define who they are. Whether it was good or bad, it's going to mold them into seeing something else. So I knew through my cousin's despair that eventually one day you're going to get why I said what I said. Even people around that are telling you, family that are still, that you talk to, that are there gossiping with you about your own mother, that you're seeking answers on your mother being a narcissist. Later on, you're going to realize you shouldn't have been talking to your mother's enemies, and you're going to see that every single person talked bad about your family except for me. I tried to tell you to stop fucking with these people, and you thought, oh, you're not telling me what I want to hear. Fuck you, bitch. I'm out of here. You mad, right? But we kept it civil to the end. But after that, we knew, like, I knew, even though he told me, oh, we could, let's hang out more. I'm like, nope. I'm going to give you tough love. I'm never going to talk to you. You're going to think I'm bad, I'm evil. But then you're going to realize all these people were talking shit out of their own hate and experience. And your experience and their experience is different, because that's your mother. And my mother's, I told them my mother's done worse to me, and I still fuck with her. Because I have to understand why she's like, I studied how she is, and I realized that that's what they were molding me to be. And that's what the hate in my family was a reflection of how they felt about my mother. And if my mother had to deal with all that hate, I could understand why she is the way she is. So I give her love, because that's the cure. That's the cure, love. And that's why narcissists always come back, because they need you to give them love, even though they don't appreciate your supply, and they leave and they talk shit about you. But they're thankful for you. They're just not going to say that because they think they're better than you. That's how you know that's why they can't give you closure, because they're still living in fairy tale land. And you're sitting there, oh, should I go to fairy tale land or should I live in the real world? The real world is painful. Fairy tale land is better, but the real world is painful, and you're conflicted between the two. But eventually, eventually you realize you can't use your emotions and none of this, because that's the difference between you and them. The narcissist pretends like they're so strong. And when you really got to be the strong one in this, you realize how weak they were. And you realize you gave them your power. And now you realize what people do when you give them power. They get greedier and greedier like animals. So now you see it coming. So you're thankful you went through the bullshit, because I don't care what anyone says about me. And I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared for growing. I'm prepared for the time. I'm prepared for seeing different versions of me as I get older. Because what narcissists do is that they fear all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I know they fear it. Dang, y'all. This is some bullshit. Hold on. Mama Mia, that's how I feel. Hurry up. You see what I'm saying? Bullshit. So you realize, you know, as time goes by, you realize, you know, why people do the things that they do. And you really pity them. And yeah, there's a lot of shame that can even live within you. But you know, hey, this is going to help me. This is going to prepare me for all the other versions of myself that I'm going to go through, and all the other battles I'm going to go through, and having to hear what people say about me out loud, and feeling how they are going to treat me. I'm going to come out of this a new person. I'm going to resurrect out of this a new person. You're going through the healing while you already know they're going to sacrifice you, because you already know they're hurting themselves. You know, Judas opened up that door, and you know, you already see it coming. But one thing you can say about Jesus is that the reason everyone followed him is because he understood them. He talked to them. He wasn't ashamed of them and their past, whether they were a thief, a prostitute. They understood, hey, the people that act perfect and shit, that ain't never been through shit, they wouldn't be able to, you know, they wouldn't be able to deal with your type of suffering. They're the weak ones. They're the area, they think they're empresses and kings and queens, and they think you're a fuck up. You fucked up your life. You did this, you're that, you ain't shit. You know, the government's telling you you can't have another chance. You are who the crime you committed, that's who you are for the rest of your life. And that's how narcissists will view you. The crime of loving them, they feel like you should pay for being so stupid, right? You should pay for being so ignorant. You should pay for not being conscious. And they're arrogant because they feel they're more conscious than you. But you feel things to another level. You feel things that they can't feel. You cry tears for them out in the open, in public, with people watching, not caring, because you knew none of these people were living in your world. You showed them love, affection. You didn't hide them from the world. You didn't hide the feelings you had from anyone. No matter what they did, you forgave them. You stuck by their side. You wiped their tears. You took them back over and over again, right? They are thankful for you because you saved them. A lot of times these people, all they're searching for, the reason they're catfishing fucking people is because they need something that they're missing. Oh, it wasn't, I know physically I lied about who I am. I know, but at least we got to talk about our feelings and shit. That was real. My pain was real. A lot of times the narcissist told you their pain, and they didn't care about your pain, right? That's what messes you up, that they leave. So when you're alone, you realize the importance of having people around you that care about you, and you realize why the narcissist kept coming around you, why they were so thankful they could get in their cars and come and see you, or go, or you were one call away from helping them, or they knew they could control you and pull on your heartstrings, and they knew that there were things that you needed as well, but they were never going to be able to give you those things. They know the times that they abused you like a rag doll, just because you wouldn't confine to them and their rules that they set for you, or the way of living, or the stories, or the cults, or the religions, or whatever you didn't want to do. You realize that they didn't really love you, right? And it's not that they didn't love you, but that you realize that they were lovers of themselves. They couldn't see anyone past themselves. So a lot of times when you do see them doing great things for others, and you wonder, well, they didn't do those things for me. You have to just be thankful that they're giving life to others. You have to be thankful that they're fueling or giving, if they're doing things right. Sometimes people bless you, right? Sometimes God sends angels your way at your most vulnerable times, or when you're in need of money, and now someone comes and they help you, or just a stranger, right? And you think, oh, that you think this person is great. Sometimes that could be a narcissist blessing you, but God is using them to bless you. That narcissist might just be, in one of those moods where they feel arrogant, but you got blessed. Maybe they just wanted to see themselves look like a good person, but you got blessed, right? So we realize we don't really need anybody. We don't need the narcissist to bless us, right? We realize we don't need the narcissist to bless us, So we see the sacrifice. We see that we're going to come out of it being a new person. And when we become this new person, when we resurrect our old lives, people will come from the past searching for us. And who they see is not who they think that they see. And a lot of times they come back searching for you, and they know you're not going to be who you once were, so they're afraid. They won't even step close to you. Other times they'll come back years later. They might or might not tell you things that they've done in the past, but they came to you because they remember, hey, that person was a good friend. They were always a good friend, because guess what? They experienced some really bad friendships and they realized. So they come back because they're thankful. And sometimes they disappear. Sometimes they go back to acting how, arrogant. But just know that these people are thankful for you just being you. And, and I'm telling you this because I went through, me being the only girl and having brothers, and them always being overprotective, or and then getting older and seeing the hate, seeing how the hate, jealousy grows because they feel like as a woman I get treated differently, or or they put me first. Oh, she's a woman, that's your sister. And now the jealousy, the hate grows. And I could see that in the narcissist, them feeling like, oh, you're there for my sister, you care. I seen that in the narcissist. Sometimes because they don't have a father to connect to, or their fathers aren't up to their expectations of what they think a father should be, right? And then I seen how women will feel guilty because of the choices that they make. So they allow the narcissism to go on. And now, because as a woman, you're not used to, you fending for yourself, you'll see that women will turn against you trying to protect the men because they feel like they've been in more pain. They've been living in another reality than you because you don't realize how good you have it. So you have to be thankful for what you have and for what you go through. And, and I'm sending you guys lots of love. I am cooking, so I'm gonna get back to that, you guys. But I wanted to come on here and just talk to you guys about how the narcissist is thankful and how you should be thankful, to have your peace and to have a new life and to be able to leave the old you behind, because every day is a new day, and when you wake up and you go to sleep, you see who's really there for you, who checks up on you. And when you realize that certain people you did so many great things for, they're off living their life and you feel alone, just know that a lot of times that's how they felt when they came into your life, and they have their life to live and learn certain lessons. They're gonna have to suffer their own karma, and they just haven't suffered it. And then when they do, they just don't want you to see about it, but you'll hear about it, and it's not gonna make you feel good, but that's what's gonna let you know to keep moving on and keep moving on in life and be thankful for what you do have and what you can achieve on your own. Because this time you're not living through people, you're living through your own reality. As painful as it is, it's gonna bring you much more joy if you know you can get through this. So I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace, and your healing. If you guys want to support my channel by booking a session with me, my booking information is on the description. Just give me 24 hours, and like I said, you guys like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will talk to you guys on the next one. Love you guys. Bye.